All right, so we are recording, guys. So welcome again to week 3 of the executive class. So last week, you guys, I ended up having to cancel the class because we had no Wi-Fi up north. And you guys, you all know me, and you know that was that was pretty detrimental to me. Glenn had to talk me off a ledge a couple times, but it was okay. But we're here, and we had some things to do last week. And so we're going to kind of talk about, reflect on, what you guys have been watching and what you guys have been learning. And we're going to talk about becoming a master consultant tonight. Oftentimes when we think of the executive class, we think about executive, like I gotta be an executive. But if you can master the basic skill of being a master consultant, you will get to executive. So with that being said, you guys, we are going to open it up right now for discussion. So when we've had a lot of things that we watched, like we watched Kathy Savage, she is amazing. Her last name is right on the money. She's Savage. I love her. She's from Boston, and she's raw and real, and I really like what she has to say. We watched Emily Vavra, Why Network Marketing, Why Now, Gabby Dean's Top 10. The 2 shares on getting to Crystal Executive. So you guys, if I can just ask that you're present right now, you're here, and we help each other grow, that's going to be huge. So, what were some things that you heard, in the last couple of weeks of the things that we've been diving into? What were your takeaways? What are some things that you want to share? Do you have any questions? And the more shares that we have, the richer this is going to be. So you are all challenged right now. And I know some of us are joining for the very first time tonight, and that's okay. But you guys are challenged right now. I can go, but I'm encouraging you to step up as leaders. So is there anybody who wants to be brave and just go first? And whatever's on your heart. It doesn't have, there's no right or wrong here.
Melina, I'll jump in.
Okay.
Melina can speak to the fact that I reached out to her today because I was needing a little help with what to say. I just felt like I don't know. It didn't feel like, not that I wasn't being genuine. I was maybe doubting myself, and it's like what I'm saying doesn't feel like it's reaching people. I'm not getting as many responses as I want back. And I was really like feeling the self-doubt creep in. And, she's always amazing and gave me some examples to follow, but that comes back to a lot of the messages that you guys are going to receive if you haven't watched what she's referring to from last week. And Kathy Savage is one of those messages, like, you're going to have to be authentic, to who you're talking to. And there is no such thing as a script. And I think that that's so important for all of us to hear, because we all get caught up in that. What do I say? And I don't sound as eloquent as you, and I can't say it like you. And that's just not true, because people are going to respond to you. And I think that message is really important to take home. And like, it can't just be copying somebody else or feeling like you're doing the right thing because you did what somebody told you. You're going to have to be authentic to you and to the person that you're speaking to. Like, think about your audience. So, that's one thing, but also just that belief in myself, since I was feeling it was kind of low today. Like Emily Vavra, oh my God, that is my girl. When I get back on and watch her, she just get back to the reason why you are doing this. So that was so important to me today before I started to leave more messages, since I was feeling a little bit of that self-doubt creep in. It was like, all right, girl, get back to why you're doing this, and like, she can always do that for me. So you've got to, I strongly encourage you guys to look up to, find your leaders in Isagenix and go watch them when you're feeling like you need that boost, because it's important to remind yourself of why you're doing this and why you're here. And that's always really important. And when I get that fire in me, when I start watching her again, it's like, okay, I'm good. I'm going to go leave my messages now. So I just thought that those were both really awesome reminders for how I was feeling today. So at any level, that was what rank to associate, I think that they still might've been in, but all of us can benefit from that at any point in time.
So good. Thanks for love it. Anybody else want to hop in? Mike, go ahead.
Yep, I'm going to go. Okay. I know everybody's screen is different, but mine looks like the Brady Bunch, so I'm going to look down at the person right below me. That's Beth Ann. Of course, last week was pretty incredible for me, and was all because of Beth Ann helping me through, pushing me when I needed it, but also showing me the way. Getting her involved in the 3 ways really helped out a lot. I would have thrown up all over everybody and probably lost some people. So she definitely showed me how to do it. Still got a few people hanging out there on the line that we're still trying to get in, but definitely the push that I needed, and couldn't have done it without her.
Awesome. Way to go, Mike. Mike hit Crystal Consultant last week, guys.
Woo-woo.
It's awesome. So good.
So I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Good segue, Mike. Thanks. I think one of the things I've realized over the course of the last week, and Melina and I talked about this on Monday too, and is my focus is kind of shifting. I am more on a path normally of enrolling, and now I'm kind of shifting into the mindset of the team side, and listening to some of these leaders talk about, the team and the leadership is extremely important for me in kind of the role that I'm in right now. Like working with Mike, that was, I have a few consultants, but that was the first time like I've really dove in and really gave something different of myself to support him. In other consultants that I've worked with, it's been kind of a different path. Just, hey, put a note out there. They already had some people, but we really worked together to talk to some people, do three-way messages, and really have those connecting conversations. And it was just a totally different shift for me this week. And it's difficult when you shift like that because you're set on a different path. And so you're learning something new and it's kind of scary. So, but working with Mike was great because, he's a sponge. So that was really, it worked out perfectly for him to be the first person for me to dive in like that with. But just taking a minute outside of that to kind of sit down and, like Tori was saying, listen to some of these leaders that have inspired us along the way, just gives you that breath of fresh air to make that call, say that thing, talk to that person, and really go out there and share this blessing. So it was a step in a different direction, but it was exciting. So
it was good. So good. Growing. And sometimes growing doesn't feel very good, but it's good, but it doesn't feel good. We're going to talk about that too. All right. Anybody want to go? Anybody else? No one. Wait time doesn't scare me.
Hi there.
Hi, Karen.
So I was looking back at my notes from, Savage. What's her first name?
Kathy.
Kathy. Yeah. Anyways, the one thing I liked what she said is my experience with Isagenix is my business. So that rang true. And she's also talking about, ask for the invitation, ask people, if they want, and always end with an invitation to join. So that was her, but always build relationships and ask people how they're doing and just wait, just develop relationships with people and wait. And then you can ask them about the business. So I like that about what Kathy was saying.
Yeah, she's great. It's awesome. Anybody else? Go back to my notes. So I am actually going to talk about Denzel Washington. Did you guys watch that? You guys watched that, right? That was good, right? So good.
that was amazing.
Yeah. And I love that. I love that kind of stuff, because we really have a tendency to look at people's success and we say, and that's, he said something in the video, like I was a 20-year-old overnight success, but how he got there was, failing and failing and failing and failing over and over and over again, and he said one thing. I mean, everything was awesome, but he said something and it literally just like stopped me for a second. And he said, each one teach one. And so if you think about you guys on this call, you're here, you're learning, you're growing, And the whole reason that you're here and you're learning and you're growing is literally so you can just pay it forward, so you can give it to someone else. So you have a path that has been blazed by you and others can go, you know, and you think about that. And that's exactly what you're doing with Isagenix. You are blazing a path to make it easier for everybody that comes with you. And, you know, I think about that, and I think about, you know, giving feedback and sharing with people. And, you know, I mean, leading is scary, and, you know, you never know if you're going to do it right. You never, you just don't, you know, you're going to do it how you do it, and you're going to do what you think is right. And when you come from a place of love, which I talk about all the time, you can't go wrong, you know? And so if you desire for your people to be successful, they're going to be successful, you know? And the thing is, and here's the catcher. You have nothing to do with their success. And I know that it was another takeaway that I had from listening to Denzel Washington. He never said that, but, you know, I can pour into people. I can give feedback to people. I can encourage people to come to events. I can point people in the right direction, but your success and their success has nothing to do with me, you know, and how things that I say, how they're received, has nothing to do with me. And so that's I just, like, that was my biggest takeaway from that, is that each and every single one of you guys, you have a team of people. You know, if you have enrolled one person, you have a team of people, and they're looking to you. They're looking to you for advice about the products, advice about the business, whatever it is, you know. And so being equipped as a leader is so important. And so that's why we're doing this class, and we're literally taking it back to associate level, you know, because the basics work. The basics absolutely work. And so we're going to talk about that. So I'm going to start sharing my screen here, guys. So, you know what? We didn't breathe and do a card, and I can't function if I don't do that. So we're going to stop. We're going to stop. I'm feeling it. I feel like I didn't pull a card. So we're going to stop for a second. Sorry, guys. All right. I shouldn't apologize. There's no reason to apologize, but I did anyways. So, all right. So we're going to take a minute. All right. We're going to breathe. All right. So everybody go ahead and close your eyes. I can see you. So close your eyes. That's good. Some people just joined us. So, all right. Let's go ahead and breathe it out, guys. Fill that belly. Blow it out. Let your belly release. All right, good. I feel 10 times better. And I can always tell when I don't do that. You know, like I'll start working, and then I'll be like, whoa, I need to chill for a second. So the card that I pulled, you guys, is I affirm only the good in my life. It says, I am in harmony with all that surrounds me. I am at peace. I love that. You know, and so we get to choose what is good, and we get to choose how we receive things, and we get to choose how we respond, which is a superpower, literally. But you guys, before we get started and doing anything, I almost forgot. I wanted to share this with you. See, I had to center myself to remember what I wanted to do. I know a lot of you guys follow Emily Robber, and I don't know if you've seen her most recent post, but I'm just going to read this to you. She's very inspiring. I strongly suggest everybody follows her because she just keeps it real, and she very, very real. And so it says, I've been doing things daily that I don't want to do. This is how I know I'm really growing. It hurts. It's painful, but it's been so good on the other side of this. I know it because I've been here before. Begin a growth plan. Put yourself on a program that will help you develop your skills and talents. You cannot take the team to higher level if you haven't gotten there yourself. Your growth determines who you are. Who you are determines who you attract. Who you attract determine the success of your organization. If you want to grow your organization, you have to remain teachable. And I read that before I started kind of thinking about like what we were going to do, what I was going to, share with you guys. And it just was like, what you guys are doing, and your growth, it doesn't always feel good, and it's not always going to feel good. And many people shut down the second that it doesn't feel good, and they say, this isn't for me. And I would be totally lying if I didn't have conversations with my husband, Glenn. And I'm like, man, this hurts. This doesn't feel good. Like, is this supposed to be like, everything's supposed to feel good? And that's not necessarily true. Growth and learning and getting better, and that's what we're going to do. That's what we're doing in this class. And, one of my biggest takeaways, that I've just kind of came to this epiphany lately is, if you're not a master at the basics, you can't teach the basics. And if you're not teaching the basics, your organization isn't learning the basics. And I know that sounds so basic, what I just said, but it is like insanely real. And so that's why we're going back to associate training and consultant training. And we're talking about the things that really build a solid foundation for a business. Anybody can enroll somebody. Anybody can say, hey, you're going to love this. I've lost 50 pounds. You should do this. But the goal is to grow an organization and to pay forward all the blessings that Isagenix has given you. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. All right. Okay. So I wanted to, can everybody see my screen? Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to keep it just so we can scroll up and down. But I just really wanted to, recap the last time that we got together, you guys. And the books. So I'm going to be very honest. The books always take the back burner for me. They always take the back burner, but I always get something in on my calendar. I always get something read during the week, simply because that connecting into whatever it is that you need to grow on is so incredibly important. And so I know we're all reading a different book, but if you have not gotten to your book this last week, I'm encouraging you to be very intentional to get into your book. I'm reading The Feeling is the Secret, and it's an incredible reminder for me, because that's kind of where I'm at with my development. I need to check myself and tell myself it's all good. Things are going exactly the way they should, but the 4-year career is a great example. If your belief is not through the roof with network marketing and you haven't read that book yet, that's exactly where you should be. We talked about social media. We talked about power posts on Sunday night, and they are very, very valuable. People will reach out to you. So put your heart into those power posts, you guys. And if you need inspiration, we talked about, a few people to follow, but a Sunday night power post is something that, get that on your calendar, plan for that. Maybe you need to start writing it in your notes for the week, if you need to do that. And then we also talked about connecting and doing what feels good, and I shared with you how I do the birthday messages, and then I reach out a week later, and I'm so glad that Tori shared what she shared, and so, Tori needed it to feel good, in order for her to do it. And to be able to recognize that is huge, is absolutely huge, to kind of stop and shift and reset and say, hey, what do you say? How do you do this? That kind of thing. And the feedback that I actually gave Tori, and I hope, Tori, I'm going to share this. Are you okay with it? I hope that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Is the exact same feedback that I got from Casey Pluff. And we're going to talk about this, and so, instead of, saying, I want you to, or I would love for you to, and we've heard that before, in Casey's trainings, is in shifting it and how can you make it about them? And we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight, because everything that we do is all about someone else, and you can just get in the moment, you can just get in the moment. And of course you want them to do something, because you desire them to put these amazing products into their body and what they're going to be, but when you can help people feel that it's truly all about them, it is huge. It's huge for them. You know, I mean, imagine, you know, somebody pouring into you, you're going to have more of a desire to respond. All right. So here we go. So notebooks out. We're going to be writing, guys, get going here. All right. So belief. And I know we talk about this, you know, and Emily Bavara, you know, her why network marketing and why now. And this is so incredibly important, you guys, to check your belief all the time. So what is your belief in network marketing on a scale of 1 to 10? And why? And it's okay to say, I don't know, because you don't have the capacity to answer the question. Does anybody want to share what number you're at and why?
I can share if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, yay. I'm in and out of connection, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
I would say probably like an 8, just because of knowledge in the industry, and this is the only network marketing company that I've necessarily been with, so I don't have a lot of experience on obviously this is the best to be with, and I'm glad I started with this one and don't have anything to compare to, but
I think we lost you, Amanda. You're frozen. That's okay. We can come back. Anybody else want to share? And why?
I'll share.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go. Hey.
Who wants to go?
Melanie.
Go ahead, Melanie.
Okay. So for me, I feel like this ebbs and flows for me. Like when I'm in a good frame of mind, when my business is rolling, obviously my beliefs at a 10. And then when things aren't, you know, then the deception phase hits in. We've all talked about that. But I feel like overall, my belief usually sits somewhere between an 8 and a 10. And I can always feel like I'm super excited for this coming weekend, because it's going to put me right back to where I need it to be. You know, being with a group of like-minded people, and then obviously doing these things, you know, consistently and weekly keeps my belief extremely high, because when I see all of you and the energy that you bring and just the team that I have underneath me and this incredible group of people, like, you can't help but believe in what you're doing.
Good. Karen, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I've always had a very high belief in the industry, in network marketing, but the belief that is always me, right? So I believe in the industry. Probably when I look at the industry, I see it as actually quite biblical, to be honest, because Jesus started with 12, you know, so that's, to me, I look in that regard, how network marketing is really biblical. And I believe in Isagenix as the product, and it is a great product and consumable. My belief wavers in myself. So, and Philip also has he's over here.
Hi, Philip.
You want to share you can share what you were saying.
Right. I was drinking my breakfast, so my dinner. So I stepped off camera. I've seen a couple of these systems, and this one works extremely well. It's a tremendous balance between volume and upfront as you get people started. But more than that, I really feel like we're helping a lot of people. You know, we're not selling a lot of Cutco knives, and we're not putting a lot of candles in people's homes. We're really helping their nutrition and their health.
Awesome.
9, because I'm an accountant. I'll give you a number, 9.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the number. It's awesome. That's so good. And so you guys, the belief, and I know we talk about it often, you know, but we're going back to the basics, checking your belief, you know, and, you know, so if your belief in yourself is low or your belief in the industry is low, pour into that, pour into what you need, and I mean, and you're doing that, you're on this call, and so what we're here is to develop into leaders so we can be there for those, that we need to ask. So asking your people where their belief is, and if their belief is low, send them a copy of the 4-Year Career. All right. Okay. So you guys, this is huge. So how are you spending your time? All right. And so taking a look at your calendar, and I am not like a numbers person. Like, I mean, that's more like Philip's deal and Glenn's deal. But, I know when I'm spending too much time on something and when I'm not spending enough time on another thing. So 80% of what you do should be spent on recruiting, retention, rank advancing, and recognition. Okay. So Kathy Coover says the 3 R's, and she leaves off recognition. And I don't think she would disagree with us. Kelly Dickerhuff, who is an Isagenix millionaire, I'm sure you guys are familiar with her. She added on recognition with her team, and she trained on this at NYKO. And these 4 R's are all about your people. It's all about your people, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. It's all about your people. It doesn't have anything to do with you. So you're inviting people when you're recruiting to take a look at Isagenix because it's going to change their life. When you are retaining people, that them continuing to put these amazing products into their body is good for them, and that's countering the, I think I'm only going to do it for a month kind of thing. And, that's the, truly keeping the retention of, really being there for them. Rank advancing is showing your people how to get paid, casting the vision, and then recognition. And so you guys have a challenge this week. And your challenge is, who can you recognize on your personal page? On your personal page, who can you recognize? Whether it's for the products, whether it's for the business, whether it's for, just somebody who's poured into you, it doesn't matter, but who can you recognize on your personal page? So you're putting out that vibration of people feeling honored because of Isagenix. Okay, because of Isagenix. So who can you recognize? And that was one of Gabby's top 10. Gabby's top 10 was recognizing her people. And that's how she promotes, that's how she shares the opportunity publicly, is she recognizes her team, how much money they've made, on the personal page. So who can you recognize? And I think the biggest thing here, because I had this in the beginning, was I was like, well, I don't have anybody to recognize. It doesn't matter who you recognize. It can be anybody. You don't have to be financially connected to them. They don't have to be in your downline. They don't have to be in your upline. They can just be somebody that inspires you, but sharing the opportunity of what Isagenix is. So who can you recognize this week? So that's a challenge for you. And then obviously 20% personal development. And that's what we're doing tonight, and I want you guys to pour into yourself as much as you can, but honor your time and honor the ratio too, and so if these things that are being listed off, that I'm sharing with you, that these are things that I'm encouraging you to take a look at, and we're going to talk about them or we're going to reflect on them. So that's not like a ticket free, like, oh, sweet, I don't have to watch them, but honor your time and honor your time ratio. That's so important. Like if you literally have 15 minutes to work, 15 minutes is it. So what are you going to prioritize? How can you take a look at the ratio and get it done? So it's so huge. This ratio is very, 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 very important. All right. Okay, here we go. So every master was once a disaster. Okay. You guys, literally my first year and a half of my build was like, oh, sweet. You want a value pack? All right. I'll take your information. Good luck. Talk to you later. Like that. I just didn't know what I didn't know. I was not a huge advocate of 3-way calls. I didn't use them. And so I had consequences in my business. Okay. People didn't necessarily, I supported them. I cleanse coached them, but I wasn't necessarily showing them how to get paid, unless they were basically asking me, because I made it weird. I made it super weird. And 3-way calls, I wasn't necessarily using them. And so what was my consequence? Does anybody want to take a guess? I see Caitlin. Caitlin, what do you want to say? Unmute yourself. Tell me.
I was trying to say without saying your people were falling off.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Falling off.
Pages of zeros.
Pages of zeros.
I got them too, girl.
Yes. Yes. And so, and that's it. Like, just like the leaves, like the fall hit and like the tree died. My isogenic tree died, you know? And here's the thing. If you're guilty of that, it's all good. You know, that's what we're doing right now is we're building our capacity to make sure that we can pour into our people the right way. You know, you better believe right now I'm bringing people in, I'm showing them how to get paid, I'm plugging them into stuff, you know, and that's just what it is now. But in the beginning, you know, and that's what, and Glenn just said it, he's sitting right here. He said it took forever. It took forever to build. Absolutely forever, you know, because I was a little stubborn donkey. So, you know, so would you, and so I want you to answer these questions. So get your notebook out. So would you consider yourself a master consultant? All right. So a consultant is somebody who has enrolled one person on their left and one person on their right. And you just continue to do that over and over and over again. Okay. A master consultant. We're not talking manager here. And if yes, why? And if no, why? And a couple other questions. With every enrollment, are you setting every person you enroll up for massive success? And how can you improve? And we're not necessarily going to answer these, but these are just reflection questions, things to think about, you know? So is there anybody that's brave enough to share? Do you consider yourself a master consultant?
I'll share.
Yeah.
So I said partly yes and partly no. I said I feel really comfortable, you know, keeping up with the people and giving them support. And, you know, I'll message if I haven't heard from them in a few weeks. I'll say, you know, how's it going? Do you have any questions? So I feel like really good about that part. But I have a hard time basically letting people know that they have the opportunity to get their products paid for. And I mean, even more than that. And it's really hard for me because I don't like talking about money. And it's easier, you know, it's easier when I make a post because I'm not physically talking to someone about it versus, you know, directly asking someone is just hard for me. So I said I need to get better at doing that. But I feel I'm good at supporting people and making sure, you know, they're having a good product experience.
Awesome. Thank you, Jenny. And so something that I would encourage you to do, Jenny, is I would encourage you to power post weekly about the money, you know, and do more of like an attraction marketing. You guys, so here's the thing. Doing what feels good is so incredibly important, okay? It's also important to make sure that you're serving your people, all right? And serving people the right way is just simply showing them how to get paid. And if you're not necessarily comfortable doing that yet, that's where those three-way calls and welcome calls can come into play. But, you know, I really like what you just said, Jenny, is you're comfortable with hosting, you know, and so sharing, you know, that avenue and people, you know, attraction marketing is real. People do reach out because of posting. And so being consistent about celebrating people, not necessarily people on your team, anybody, about the income that people's making, then, you know, that's something that you can do to make it feel good for you. All right. Thank you, Jenny. That was awesome. Okay. So like I said, guys, those are just simply reflection questions. So we literally go to work to complicate things. And I'm sure I can get a whole slew of hands here. You know, I mean, I overcomplicate things. We do that, you know, and then I'm like, okay, let's just get back to the basics. And I know for, you know, some of us on here, this might be like, wow, this is pretty basic. But when we start to overthink and we don't think things are happening, it's going back to these 5 steps that we all are pretty good on here. Number 6, I think we can work on. Okay, so you ask people to take a look, and however you decide to do that, you know, I mean, you know, maybe you send a script message or you send a voice message. I highly encourage sending a voice message. That's what I do. But you guys, typing messages still works. And if that feels better than sending a voice message, you know, do what works for you. Getting them on a product call or a 3-way call, you know, and so it's so incredibly important to talk to people and listen and hear about their goals, you guys. And we talked about the cake recipe last week. And if that's not something, I literally had the cake recipe cut out and taped to my desk for when I decided to do this and do it the right way when I was doing 3-way calls. And now I just kind of have my own version of it, and if you need a copy of that, let me know. I will send it to you. But getting them on a product call, get people on the phone, and a 3-way call is huge in the beginning, until you feel comfortable doing them on your own, do 3-way product calls. Absolutely. And the simple thing is, I don't really know a whole lot about what's going on. I know I love these products and I know what I started with, but I want to make sure I set you up for massive success. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to set you up with my friend Karen or Jenny or Caitlin or whoever. All right. Plant the seed of the opportunity. And if you're not comfortable doing that, make sure you do a 3-way call. And guys, how I plant, many of you have done calls with me, how I plant that seed is I just tell my story. That's it. I just say, I went part-time 2 years ago. I've been able to replace an income, and don't be afraid to share somebody else's story. And that was one of my biggest takeaways too from Gabby was she was like, her hesitation was she wasn't making any money necessarily. And she just shared somebody else's belief. Show them how to get paid immediately. Every single person, when they enroll, even if they tell you that they don't want to do the business, okay? And it shouldn't even be talking business in the beginning. But if they're like, I want nothing to do with the business, even if they say that to me, I will send them that video of, hey, I know you said this, but this is really great. And you deserve to know because people are going to ask you how much money you can make. And then you just draw the circles of them making $150, getting to manager and making $620. That's it. Because that's with 100 BV. Whatever they enrolled with, you draw that for them and you send it to them in a text message. That's what I do. I send it to them in a text message. This is a great short video. Try to keep it like a minute and a half long, and people appreciate it. Nobody yet has yelled at me for doing that. Get them on a welcome call, and I know we talk about the welcome calls in the Forever University, guys. And so if you're leading with the Forever Pack, that's amazing. That's great. And they have it, but the welcome call doesn't matter if you're doing the Forever Pack or the Weight Loss Value Pack. It doesn't matter. It's simply a layout for you to talk to them about their goals. What are they looking to get out of Isagenix? And so I encourage every single person to at least get people in a message with me. Once they've enrolled, put them in a message with me. And at some point I just say, hey, I'd love to hop on the phone with you and get to know you. And eventually I let them know what the opportunity is with Isagenix. And if it's for them, it's for them. If it's not, it's not. And then number 6 is get to know your people. You guys, and this is what I was awful at for a long time, and so I enrolled people, they had a good experience or whatever, but people didn't feel valued by me. And, that was just something I just didn't know what I didn't know. And I didn't ask the right questions, and I didn't take the time to really dive into why they were doing that, and so when I got good at the cake recipe and when I started doing, this, what we're going to talk about here in just a second, it really started to change things. All right. And so, like I said before, you guys, it's never about you. It's never, ever about you. And, if it's weird to share about the opportunity, that means it's just weird for you. It's not necessarily weird for them. You might be enrolling a single mom who would kill to have $500 extra a month. You might be enrolling a family like Glenn and I who were up to our eyes in debt, who would just absolutely love it. And so plugging people into the systems, getting into the HIA, the systems that we have in place, 3-way calls, welcome calls, showing them how to get paid and encouraging them to come to events. Each one, teach one. That was my biggest takeaway from Denzel Washington. I shared that earlier. But these are the things that just by doing them and modeling them, you're showing the people that you've enrolled how this works. And so by showing them how it works, if they decide to do it, it's going to naturally be instilled in them. Does that make sense, guys? Everybody following me? Okay. All right. So if it's hard for you to do a 3-way call, you got to ask yourself why. And chances are it's about you, because it was about me when it was hard for me to do three-way calls, and if it's hard for you to do welcome calls, ask yourself why. Are you making it weird for them because it's weird for you? And then showing people how to get paid. In the beginning, I didn't show people how to get paid. I didn't talk about the opportunity because I didn't necessarily want to talk about money. And that's because talking about money was weird for me, because it was really uncomfortable, because we had a crap ton of debt and I didn't want to talk about it, and I didn't want to talk about it with my friends. And I didn't want to talk about it with my parents, and I got mad about it. And so I had my personal problems that I was literally bleeding onto other people. And so my people were not getting what the information that they could have, really used to build Isagenix. All right. I think I duplicated that slide. Yes. Okay. So you guys are going to watch this week, the Lynn Hagedorn, and then you're also going to watch something that Kathy Coover talks about. Who has heard of the new associate interview? Has anybody heard of it? Ooh, sorry. Quick pictures of Glenn at the beach. Has anybody heard of the new associate interview?
Yes, I have, Melina.
Okay. You're the only one? Nobody else? Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. So, maybe Tori can speak to it here in a second. You guys, all right. And actually, you know what, Tori, do you want to talk about it?
You know what? Well, my understanding is Emily Vavra's take on it. So I don't want to speak off. I mean, I think it's pretty similar. So
yeah,
what I love about it, and I don't necessarily do this with everybody, and that's certainly something that I have to grow in, but I like that it really qualifies people, because it makes them think about what they want, and how much they're really willing to devote to this. So the nice thing about it is you get on the same track with the person you're enrolled with immediately. You don't have expectations that are higher than what they can commit to you. So it's like, they tell you they can give you 5 hours. They tell you that they want to run with this and they want to give you 30 hours a week. So you know who your runners are, and to commit all of your time to them. But you're also setting the expectation for the person, that they don't have unrealistic expectations. It's like, okay, you're willing to put in 5 hours a week. Well, then you're not going to be pulling in, executive and these 6-figure numbers and stuff. So it's a good qualifier. It sets the expectations, and it kind of like sets it up as a business level. That's what I like is, like, this isn't just two friends that are shooting the shit. It's like, you set this up as a business interview and you say, what do you want? I'm here to support you. I need to know your goals and what you're willing to commit.
Nice. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you guys, Tori nailed it. And so this is something, and she shared, and that she needs to improve. I need to improve too, because I do this once people are like, yeah, I'm in, like, I'm going to do this business. And I'm like, why am I waiting so long to do that? And so what I created a long time ago, and I would love to share these with anybody who wants them. So feel free to send me a message. These are I made Google forms of the new associate interview that Kathy Coover, Emily Vavra loves them and uses them. I'm not sure how she uses them, but created these forms. And so people can literally from their phone, just fill it out really quick. It doesn't take very long. And I divided up the health and the wealth, because the new associate interview is long, and there's like a health portion and there's a wealth portion, but like I said, you guys, I read that post, saying that we're doing things lately that I don't necessarily want to do. And it's not that I don't, I want to grow, but this kind of thing is painful. This is adding another thing, and so it was painful for me to shift, to do the 3-way calls, but I grew. It helped me, and this is something that I need to figure out, where am I going to incorporate it? How is it going to fit? But I just want to show you guys what these look like. So here's the health form. All right. And so what Google Forms, and if you guys are familiar with Google Forms, you can create your own. I know some of you guys on here are like super total gurus when it comes to technology. So you could do it in like snippy snap or whatever, however you want to do it. I mean, but I like the electronic version, and I like that with a Google form, people can literally type on this and it can be dropped. It drops into a spreadsheet. automatically for you. So then you have all this information. And the one thing that I think I might add on here is a phone number and address, for like handwritten notes or whatever, because it's nice to have people's phone numbers and their addresses. So this is what the health one looks like. And then you have all that information, like, are you registered for the Ice the Body Challenge? Who is on your support team? And if they're answer this and they're like nobody, then you're like, okay, I'm gonna need to be there for this person, and look how outdated this is. Look, I created this when it was you plus two, them plus two. It's not even that anymore. I need to get my poop in a group, but anyways. All right. So this form, I'm going to start using it. All right. For every single person that I talk to about Isagenix, any person that is interested, think about having a storage place for all of your prospects. And the fact that they watch right here, they watch, you share, they share. It's amazing. And then, and like I said, I segmented the wealth one, and like I will share these with you guys. Whoops, I need to delete that. But these are really great questions. And this is really great to send to your current people right now that are building, to really get an idea of where they're at. All right. All right, we're going to wrap it up here, guys. So goals for the month of August. All right, so this is notebooks out, guys, because we're going to do this right now. So what you're going to be doing this week is you're going to be watching Lynn Hagedorn's, you guys, the compensation plan, and it is 46 minutes long. So I would recommend doing maybe if you only have 15 minutes, doing 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. But when I got really serious about sharing Isagenix the right way, Lynn Hagedorn has a video from 2013 floating around on YouTube. I watched that video until I could recite it right before she spoke the word. And so I got it down. And so that video that you're about to watch, get it in your back pocket. That is what works. Hillary Courtney, if you're not drawing circles, you don't have an organization, you don't have a business. And so it's just so incredibly, that's it. That's the heart of your Isagenix business, is understanding the compensation plan, sharing the compensation plan, helping people get paid. So, and then you're going to watch the video on the new associate interview with Kathy Coover and why she loves it. And who's in that with her? Not Tanya, her sister. Trudy Maples is in that with Kathy. So those are the two things. So there's only two things in a very short video by Robert Kiyosaki. But I'll send that out here after we're done. But so goals for the month of August, you guys, and you're going to be sharing these with your accountability partner. And that's another thing in regards to the accountability partner, you guys, that is the accountability partners those are all you, and so if you're not using that thread per se, it's no big deal. But, I really highly encourage you to talk to that person. That person's doing the do with you. And it's nice to not necessarily be connected to somebody in such a way that you work with all the time. It's nice to have a fresh person to talk to. So goals, enrollments. How many enrollments are you looking to get in August? How many rank advancements are you going to have, and what are they going to be? Write them down. And any personal ranks. So are you going to be hitting any personal ranks? Do you believe that you're going to be hitting any personal ranks? And so, mine are on my phone somewhere. I have to find them. But, 5 enrollments is always the goal. It's a leader in action. 5 enrollments is always the goal. And, at least 3 consultants, creating at least 3 consultants. And these are goals, you guys, but write them down, put them up, see them all the time, see them all the time. And then you're inviting people to take a look, and you're showing people how to get paid. And that's how it happens. So it's awesome. All right, I think that's all I have. I'm gonna stop my share. All right, does anybody have anything they want? Oh, Jenny, I'm gonna send it to you guys in all of your threads. So I'll send you all the videos. I'll send you the links like I did, last week. I have them all on links for you guys to be able to watch. So I'll send them. Does anybody have anything that they want to add or share or anything before we hop off?
So were you going to send that Google form too, or was that something we needed to request specifically?
I can send it to you. And so that's a good question while people are on here. So if I send it to you, I'll share it to you, and then you'll have to make a copy of it.
Okay. And then how do you embed that video? I mean, is that to get the new video? Because we probably don't, we want you share.
Yeah, I will do that. I will do that. Like I need to do that anyway. So then I'll share it with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Anybody else?
Yeah. Question.
Yeah.
So with that Google Doc, would you send that out to all your people you have currently too? I mean, everybody, your team, and maybe just that have just gotten started, even though you're not personally enrolled them, or would you talk to?
No, so that's something that I would use for the people that I've enrolled.
Personally enrolled.
Personally enrolled. And then when you're in your three-way messages with the people that you're kind of bringing up as leaders, then you might need to be the person to send that.
Okay.
And then they kind of learn that, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to send this. Because what happens is if you send the link, which is fine in the beginning because you could share the information. If you send the link, it dumps into your spreadsheet.
Good point.
Yep.
So
and I know
share it with my leaders so they can start creating their own.
Yeah.
I know I physically have a notebook that I've been writing in, but this would be a lot easier.
Right. And this is what I was talking about in regards to doing something that is painful. This is going to be hard for me because I'm going to do it and I'm excited about doing it, but it's like an additional layer of something that I haven't been doing. And so it's just going to be something I'm going to have to work into my schedule. But I know having that information is going to be a game changer for me and, me being able to help my people. And so, it's Emily Vavra does it, so we should do it too. All right. Anybody else?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
And maybe it'll be more clear once I see that Google form, but I guess my question is, like, let's say they fill out the health one. Like, what would be the goal when you're using the data? Like, what does that show you? Does that make sense?
Yeah. And the video that Kathy and Trudy do is really, really good too, Caitlin. But, it's just asked like what their goals are. It's a great form to send somebody who you're prospecting. So, because then you can have that information and you can follow up with them.
So could I ask another question?
Yeah.
So are you sending this before someone enrolls or after?
Before someone enrolls.
Okay.
And so what Kathy suggests is that you send, it's like, so the new associate interview is like it's like health. And then there's a health section and then there's a wealth section. I took it and made 2 of them. And so that's why like watching that video and seeing like how you might add it to your business. But so using that to help, people that I've added to the page, so I have like a whole slew of people that I've added to the page, but, to be able to send it and say, hey, I know you're still hanging out on the page. Would you fill this out for me? That kind of thing, for the health. And then people that I've enrolled, the wealth, then I'll send the wealth, who have kind of sparked interest in the business.
Okay. Can I ask one more question? This is probably stupid, but
it's good.
I am having a hard time imagining this in my head, like where with the prospect, the health one, like where that fits into the conversation.
I don't know yet because I haven't sent it.
In my head, I'm thinking, well, it might be different, with each person, but then that's kind of a goat rodeo to keep track of. Like, have I sent it to this person? Or,
Right. Well, I mean, so what I'm thinking is I'll have the conversation and, see if I can get people on the phone, and if they don't enroll, then I'll have them fill it out. And if they do enroll right away, I think I'll have them fill it out too. It's just fresh. Like if they don't enroll, like once I've had a call with them, hey, would you mind filling this out? I'd really like to just, know what your goals are so I can support you. And then if they do enroll freshly, I would probably send that too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how I'm going to manage it, but I haven't sent it. So
Right.
we're going to find out. Good questions. Really good questions.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay. Hope this works.
Hi, Sherry.
Can I get that cake recipe that you were talking about? Can I get a copy of that?
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay, because I did the review of your video last week because I'm new with this and trying to get this to work. And I saw it on there and I didn't want to type it all out or write it all down. So
I'll send it to you.
I don't know if I could get a copy of that.
Absolutely. I'll send it over.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anybody else? We're good? All right, you guys, it's going to be a week of growth, and then we go to Nashville. Oh, speaking of, no call next week because we're going to be in Nashville. So no call next week, and then we'll resume the following week. But so if you are going to Nashville, it's going to be amazing. If not, September 14th is a Super Saturday in Fenton. So get that on your calendars and start inviting your team like right now. Send them the Isagenix events link, get them there, so pack the house there. All right, everybody, that's all I got. So good call. All right, so everybody have a great night, and I'll send you guys the videos and all the good stuff, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.